listening to our testimony. I come here tonight as a mother of two children, and I've listened to both sides of the conversation as far as people who have spoken already, and I do hear a lot of passion about having this bill go forward, but I do feel my sense is that the passion is directed out of fear. Fear that the rights that they currently have will be taken away. And so I'm not sure that that's always the way to go at another bill. So that's one piece. I also feel, too, that would, I feel that the bill as it's written now would ask the state to codify abortion without women having any consequences at all, and for the actions that they have taken. So that does concern me, because I do feel that the bill does go way beyond what is on the books right now. As far as separation, I've heard separation of church and state, which is many students, I'm an educator, and I hear many students use that very brief, I call it like an acronym out of the First Amendment. And what the First Amendment really says is that no state shall establish a particular religion that all its members must follow. So that's the true writing of the First Amendment. As far as women's rights and people feeling that there is a fundamental right for equality, and while we cannot really argue that men are able to do certain things that women are not, is because men and women are not the same. We are different, and we have different roles in society, and men do not bear children themselves. However, children are born from a male and a female. So there would be no children if there were no males. I also find it somewhat disconcerting to hear people talk about the right of women to whether they want to have children or not, especially if they're a woman and their child is going to be a woman. That kind of boggles my mind, why women would want to kill off half of the babies, and yet they could have been born to grow up as a woman. As far as the right to privacy, well, I don't agree with that bill because, as I said, men contribute to the formation of the baby, and I think that they should be allowed to have notification. And as far as Roe v. Wade and the concern about that going away, I don't know that that's going to happen, but I don't see the need to rush forward. I think this needs much more consideration. And I do believe that there should be notification for both sides. As far as the health care, there seems to be a concern that if we didn't have Planned Parenthood, that women would not have access to health care and reproductive rights. I feel that that is incorrect. I know that there are many other clinics within our state that would handle that. And there are also options for people who find themselves in an unwanted pregnancy, done by many different churches as well. And what really bothers me when I hear about the services that Planned Parenthood offers, I really don't hear about them discussing the possibility of adoption for their child. They may have undue circumstances, like we just heard, that may be financial for whatever reason. I understand that. But I do feel that there should be provisions for adoption. Does that cause distress for some women? Yes, it would. Most people tend to find out they're pregnant in their third month. So that would mean that they would need to carry a child for 6 months. And isn't a child being carried to birth and having the opportunity to live the same kind of life of 60, 70, 80 years like we all have here, I'm really bothered by the fact that that we seem to think that we can make life and death decisions on our own. It really bothers me. I think everyone sitting here in this room is an intelligent person. And all laws are not correct laws. We have many laws on the book that are not right. And just because something might be on the books for 40 years doesn't mean that it is correct. But it takes each person here the willingness to listen and be open and really search deep within your heart and soul to determine what is a law that could be created in this state that would actually elevate human beings. Not bring it to its lowest common denominator, but what would elevate? And that's what I think our country was founded on. And are they considered Christian principles? Yes, they are. Nobody is being made to pick any particular religion. We have the freedom of religion. But most of our laws from our inception have been based on Christian principles. Which, does that make it uncomfortable? And for some people, yes, it does. I'm also concerned about this bill taking away any kind of oversight from the current bill that you have right now. So again, I think it's because we're operating out of fear. And I asked the committee to really take a long, hard look and again, search your conscience for decisions for babies. I mean, in Roe v. Wade, one of the issues that I just thought of was they didn't really know when conception started back then because they just didn't have the technology that we have today. And they said that once we found that out, that it would be able to be overturned. But you know what? We've known that for quite some time, and we haven't had the will. We need to have the will to make hard decisions and not always from passionate arguments. So since we do know when conception starts, which is from the very beginning, then we have to know that we are actually taking a life. And I am pro-choice, but I choose the life of the baby. Thank you for listening.